What's really unusual about the way that I've got here is that I really entered this whole sector as an outsider. I was a dentist, I was a journalist, and then I walked into the fashion industry with no experience. As I started to write about fashion and the environment, I kept expecting that I would interview somebody who knew the answers. The more I dug into it, the worse it got. We have a situation now that if the fashion industry continues as is, by 2030, the fashion industry will be the 4th biggest emitter of CO2 behind China, US, and India. So it was with horror that I realized, and with much commitment that I realized, that that's where I wanted to be positioned.
We at REDRESS needed a founding principle, and we decided to believe in the positive power of fashion.
We founded REDRESS with a mission to reduce waste in the fashion industry. Within the REDRESS Design Award competition, we educate emerging designers through lectures, workshops, academies, to actually get face-to-face with the next generation, to inspire them and to educate them and to change the way that they think and practice fashion. And the reason that we educate designers so passionately is because it's thought that up to 80% of the environmental impact of a product is actually laid down at the design stage. And ultimately what we want to do is to stop waste from being produced, and also find solutions to creatively reuse textile waste and to actively put it back into the fashion system. I moved out to Hong Kong in 2005 because I wanted to go on an adventure, and I had my second child was just born, and my husband and I wanted to raise our children in another part of the world. And so we moved to Hong Kong because it's a vibrant place, and it's been the most fantastic decision that I ever made. What I've discovered is being in Hong Kong with mainland China on our doorstep, it's proved to be so powerful and so important that we're positioned here. China is the biggest exporter of apparel and textiles, and now the biggest consumer market. When we work with the supply chain, small gains on the manufacturing side in a China context equals enormous positive environmental impacts and savings. When the rest of the world thinks about Hong Kong and mainland China, they don't necessarily think, sustainable fashion, innovators. But because of this competition and because of our global outreach, that is now how Hong Kong is being viewed, as a sustainable fashion hub. And I believe that the REDRESS Design Award has very much transformed not just the future of the fashion industry, but also the perception of Hong Kong and mainland China. So when I started REDRESS, we were a small group of early pioneers, and we've grown up together over the last decade. And our work over the last 10 years doing that has proved so powerful. We have over 111 university partners around the world, including many in China. We've educated thousands of designers, and we now have this incredible global talent pool of sustainable designers who are going into their careers and changing the future of fashion. There is a huge supportive network. We collaborate, we empower each other, and we're there for each other because we've done this journey together. But what's more exciting now is all the new, fresh players that are joining us, from startups, from NGOs, from individuals, from business entrepreneurs. And so there's such a vibrant community now of people that are pushing with the same agenda, acting sometimes differently, but with the same shared goal. And I think being an outsider is a great thing. It gives you your own way of getting things done. Coming in as a newcomer into the sector also meant that there was no guidebook for how to do this. Not only that, but I walked in as a female woman, now entrepreneur. I haven't been brought up here. I had to learn the whole sort of cultural way that things work around here, the whole business system. What we need to see is more entrepreneurs stepping into the fashion landscape. Supposedly 1 in 6 people on the whole planet are somehow linked to the fashion industry, so there is so much scope and opportunity for innovation, entrepreneurialism to push the needle in fashion. And particularly in Asia, I mean, we already now know that China's overtaken the US as the biggest consumer of fashion. So what we need right now is for fashion consumers to urgently understand that they have a responsibility to really transform the fashion industry, and that can be a very positive thing. It's about engaging with one's closet, in a more sustainable, ethical, and actually a very much more meaningful way.